So last night, Russell Westbrook, incident with a fan. Fan says he said something. Westbrook said he said something else. But what would worry me if I was the NBA is the frequency and the intensity of these situations. Now, the fan could be a big jerk. I've said before, I hate hecklers. I would have almost no tolerance if I was a general manager or any commissioner of a sport. I have zero tolerance for very, very, very little tolerance for heckling players. The NBA is a very unique sport. The NBA has sold seats right next to the players. Football players got a gap. Baseball players got a gap. Hockey players got a wall. Basketball players sit next to fans. And the NBA, a little bit of greed here, even though they're making a fortune with all this television revenue, has literally kicked broadcasters upstairs to add 7 more seats. Equipment guys got to sit behind the team so they can add 7 more seats. So players are right next to fans. But here's the thing. I can't control those fans. Maybe the guy's a racist. Maybe the guy's a jerk. And I'm not sure I can control Westbrook. But I should at least give him the tools to deal with this. More security, more space. Maybe a watchdog around him to hear what fans are saying. Because what I'm concerned about is the frequency and the intensity of these situations. 3 years ago, and I'm not a psychologist, but 3 years ago, this was not Russell Westbrook. He was an 85% free throw shooter, and he was kind of a well-liked guy in the NBA. 3 years later, his game is deteriorating, and his personality's detonating, and that worries me. Last year, Utah. This year, Denver. Then the kid. Then the fan. I'm not saying fans can't be jerks, and I'm not saying in all these incidents the fans aren't wrong. This fan, people say he was on internet, there was racist stuff on his account. I'm not denying that. But Russell Westbrook in the next week is going to go to another arena. It's not going to be empty. There's going to be fans there. And so who knows what happened to Westbrook to increase the intensity and the frequency of these. I'm not a psychologist. Kevin Durant's gone on to star. Harden's gone on to star. Maybe that bothers him. Maybe the surgeries have made him, less of a player. He's struggling with that. Maybe Paul George's emergence. I don't know. But this is just basic psychology stuff. It's the intensity and the frequency. Because it's not like he wasn't heckled 3 years ago. I sat at Laker games listening to Kobe Bryant get heckled. You don't think LeBron's been heckled? Michael Jordan heckling? And by the way, some of those could have been racial. Listen, there's inappropriate stuff in European soccer, international hockey, NBA. I'm not denying any of that. But like I told my son, I can't control fans. I can't control their kids. And I'm not sure I can control you or Westbrook. But I have to give you tools to better equip yourself. Adam Silver's got to step in. By the way, Roger Goodell's changing rules. Why? To protect players. Doesn't want his players hurt. These players are commodities. These players are assets. Okay, Russell Westbrook is the face of a franchise, the face of a division, and one of the 7 faces of the league. Okay, and this is not going to get better. Fans are now sensing stuff bothers him, so they're poking, and they're poking, and they're poking, and they're dangling, and they're poking, and it's getting worse. This is where a commissioner has to step in and protect his player. And I don't have the answers. But I would hire security. I think I've seen it, last night, James Harden's walking off the court, and he's high-fiving fans. I think fans are too close to players. I'm showing an incident on FS1 where there's a player, Russell Westbrook's on the floor, and a fan runs up to him. That's not appropriate. That's not appropriate. And in football, there is a gap between fans and player. In hockey, there's a wall. In baseball, in Oakland, it's like a parking lot between a first baseman and the fans. NBA, they're right on top of the players. And these are young players, and they're stars. And Adam Silver's recently said many are unhappy. They're on their Instagram. They're on their Twitter. The intensity and frequency of this stuff, you got to step in. And listen, I was saying this morning, he feels like West broken, not Westbrook. His shot's broken. His personality here is a little more unhinged than usual. And this stuff's escalating. So get him help. Get him security. Get him space. Get him a therapist. But this could end up being really bad, and I'm not going to just blame Westbrook if he throws a punch in the next 2 weeks. Okay, it's not going to be all on him. Listen, you got to be culpable. I tell my son all the time, hey, it's how you handle this chaos. So you'll be eventually to blame. But players, most millionaires in America, you get to be 50, you've worked hard, you've put money away. Pro sports is cruel. Hey, you're 24. Here's a pile of money. Well, I don't know exactly. Stress. Here's a bunch of fame. Well, I'm from a small town. I'm 25 years old. Pro sports is rough. And I know nobody wants to hear it because they're all rich. But these players are increasingly targets, fans on top. They've sold the tickets next to the players. Fans can be jerks. Somebody's got to help Westbrook. That is the role of a commissioner. Protect your players. Goodell's changing rules to protect players so they don't get hurt. Somebody's going to get hurt. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.